Markle strikes again. This time, the latest person caught in the crossfire is Pauline Yao. It seems Meghan is back to throwing her weight around as though she's the one calling all the shots. How many bullying allegations does this make? I've lost count.
She's attempting to deflect from negative headlines in People magazine, and it's not going to work. Meghan Markle is attempting to distract by showing a series of holiday photos.
Once a bully, always a bully, isn't that right?
Meghan Markle's team has finally answered the MasterChef accusations. But instead of shutting the story down, the response has created an even bigger question. Why did a source close to Meghan suddenly rush out a glowing defense of the filming day? And why, just as the backlash was spreading, did Meghan flood Instagram with cheerful family photographs from the United Kingdom and Portugal?
It's very easy to curdle milk. And Meghan curdles milk at the drop of a hat. And I think that's what was really happening.
Today, we are looking at both moves. First came the denial, then came the holiday album. One story said a beloved MasterChef Australia judge was left upset and reportedly in tears. The next story insisted Meghan had a wonderful time with everyone.
If this was a one-off situation, you'd think, oh, maybe these two just had a personality clash, right? I mean, I don't know this Poe, okay? I don't know Poe. Maybe she's a bit of a cow too, but that isn't my understanding, Lady C. She seems to be an incredibly popular figure in Australia. And given Meghan's track record, I am inclined to believe that these sources to New Idea are correct. She was simply trying to make Meghan feel comfortable, trying to be warm, and you saw that look. Meghan hated her.
And before the public could decide which version sounded believable, Harry, the children, Princess Diana's family estate, a swimming pool, a beach, and a plane cockpit all arrived on the timeline. Was that simply innocent summer sharing? Or was it the fastest image reset we have seen from Meghan in months? Let us keep the earlier MasterChef drama brief, because the new development is the real story.
Things were so bad that the producers had to step in several times.
Reports claimed Meghan's appearance became awkward behind the scenes. Judge Pauline Yao was left deeply upset, and an attempted apology was never handled directly between the two women. Producers allegedly stepped in, certain uncomfortable moments were reportedly removed, and Poe was said to have worried that introducing Meghan as royalty had caused a problem.
That is not good for Meghan, obviously, and it continues a pattern of her being difficult to work with. That has been the argument for years now. The reporting for years now is that she is difficult.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now, let's get back to today's story. That is the core of it. A cooking show appearance that should have been effortless allegedly became another argument about Meghan. Titles, rules, hurt feelings, and what viewers will never be shown. Now Meghan's side is pushing back. A source close to her told People that the negative version was false. According to that source, Meghan had a great time filming the episode.
Meghan can't stand anybody who outstrips her in any way, shape, or form. And that she immediately had her competitive vibes and antennae up. And she was about to annihilate Poe and did everything she could to sort of discomfit her.
She reportedly enjoyed working with the judges, connected with the contestants, and left the set feeling positive. The source also insisted that Meghan was not frustrated by anything said during filming. That is not a small correction. It is a full replacement story. The public was told there was tension. Meghan's side says there was fun. The public was told Poe felt upset. Meghan's side says everyone enjoyed themselves.
Meghan and the MasterChef judges had a great time on set together. Sure. The close source tells People, i.e. Meghan's PR guy. They immediately had such a great rapport and had a really fun time working with contestants and crew as well. Meghan left the set that day with such a positive experience. I'm sure, as much as she horses a style like this. Yeah.
The public was told producers had to manage awkward moments. Meghan's side presents a smooth, happy day with no problem worth discussing. So why did a private source need to say all of that before the episode even aired? If the report was completely ridiculous, why not ignore it? Why not allow Network 10 to release the episode and let the footage speak for itself? Why did the defense come from someone close to Meghan rather than from Poe, the producers, or the broadcaster?
Insiders, the dynamics on set didn't always match what viewers will see in the final edit. Several of the contestants frequently gravitated towards Judge Poe Yao for reassurance and feedback rather than focusing solely on Meghan as the headline. Yes, that's alluding to a spy on the show.
That does not automatically prove the original allegations. It does prove the story hit hard enough to demand an answer. There is another weakness in that defense. A source close to Meghan can describe Meghan's mood. That source can say Meghan felt happy, relaxed, or satisfied. But how can that source speak for Poe?
And this is the problem, isn't it? Are you a woman that believes in the validity of other women's feelings, or are you someone that actually thinks you're always right? Because this source close to Meghan Markle told Page Six that the Duchess and Poe actually had a great time together on set. The source added there was no frustration on Meghan's side about anything that was said on set. Oh, really? Really? Are you sure? Because Poe doesn't seem to think so.
How can Meghan's team decide whether another woman felt embarrassed, overwhelmed, or hurt after the cameras stopped? Those are two different questions. Meghan may genuinely believe the day went well, while Poe remembers the same room very differently. One person's pleasant experience does not cancel another person's distress. And notice what has not appeared. A direct public statement from Poe saying the reports are nonsense.
Perhaps the most uncomfortable moment came after the cameras stopped rolling when promotional material touting Meghan's upcoming appearance saw Poe introducing her as royalty. And you'll remember the reporting was that her team were frustrated about that and they were outside the studio when the introduction happened, and Poe was upset because she didn't realize that by using the word royalty, she'd gone against Meghan's wishes. And you can't blame her, can you, given the actual feature of the show, which Meghan's team had all signed off, was a segment called A Dish Fit for a Duchess.
There is no clear on-camera explanation from the judge, no detailed correction from the production team, and no unedited footage showing the disputed exchanges. The strongest denial is still coming from Meghan's side. That leaves the public comparing an insider report with a friendly insider response, while the people who controlled the studio remain quiet. Silence does not prove guilt, but it does leave a large empty space, and Meghan's team rushed to fill it first.
No matter what Meghan does, things never go well for her. And I think it's because she just brings negativity and toxicity wherever she goes. And because of that, every headline is negative. Every story is negative, despite how, like, a situation might be fine. But because I think of her reputation and because I think of her attitude.
And the answer sounds carefully built. It does not merely deny a clash. It supplies a list of positive details. Great time, strong connection, happy crew, enjoyable contestants, warm experience. That is classic damage control language.
An elevated attitude from marrying Prince Harry. I think her arrogance and all these sorts of things, she has sort of really very much diminished her own money earning potential because people look at her and they just see a mess. They don't want to get engaged with it. They don't want to get involved with it because it can only lead to disaster.
Do not focus on the allegation. Replace it with a cleaner picture. But a clean picture does not erase the questions. The earlier reports described several specific problems. Contestants were said to gravitate toward Poe because she is naturally energetic and reassuring. Meghan, however, had reportedly been expected to dominate the day as the major international guest. Producers allegedly stepped in more than once to keep attention where they wanted it. Some jokes and exchanges were said not to have landed. Parts of the filming were reportedly left on the cutting room floor.
Meghan Markle made one of the co-hosts cry.
The judge, she was left upset and she actually wanted to reach out to Meghan, but was advised not to bother.
Then came the strangest detail. The word royalty. Poe reportedly introduced Meghan using that word, and later feared she had crossed a line. She apparently wanted to apologize, yet the matter was allegedly handled through production rather than with one quick conversation between the two women. Why should that have become a crisis?
And actually, Ms. Booch said, oh my God, I think the magazine that said Meghan made poor Poe cry is believable because holy shit, someone caught a shot of her mask slip at Poe and M looked pissed.
This was not an accountant accidentally using the wrong job title. The entire appearance was promoted around Meghan's status as the Duchess of Sussex. The challenge itself reportedly leaned into the Duchess theme. The show wanted the royal connection, because that is what made the booking internationally interesting.
Poe felt she had been unintentionally drawn into a royal protocol issue she never intended to be a part of. A different insider shared a lighter observation about Poe's personality on set, saying Poe is full of energy, she's always joking and lifting the mood. She tried to bring that same spark with Meghan, cracking a few playful lines, but not all of it landed as intended. It's difficult, isn't it, if you're a kind woman and you're dealing with a woman-hating bitch?
You cannot sell Duchess all day and then pretend royalty came from another planet. And if Meghan truly had no issue with the introduction, why was Poe reportedly left believing she needed to apologize at all? Why did producers have to become messengers? Why could Meghan not simply smile and tell her it was fine? 10 seconds could have ended the entire misunderstanding.
And as for the excuse that she was introduced as royalty, I mean, you and I both know that if Meghan had truly objected to that introduction, she could have very simply got them to redo the introduction. So, I mean, it's all smoke and mirrors and, as usual, a whole load of rubbish about nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think, but I think that's it in a nutshell.
Instead, the story grew legs. The apology became part of the controversy. The editing became part of the controversy. Meghan's facial expressions became part of the controversy. Now every viewer knows exactly what to watch when the episode airs. That is the first problem with Meghan's response. It may have made the broadcast more dangerous for her. People will no longer watch casually. They will study every glance between Meghan and Poe. They will notice when the camera suddenly changes. They will replay the royalty introduction.
And Milano has produced a quite astonishing video which reveals that over a long period of time, across multiple continents, multiple countries, there have been a long list of Meghan's victims.
They will examine whether a conversation ends too quickly. They will compare warm shots with colder reactions in the background. Television producers can create a smooth sequence from a difficult day. They can cut pauses, remove comments, add music, insert applause, and move reactions into a different order.
With behind-the-scenes sources revealing that while things looked picture-perfect on screen, tensions were simmering beneath the surface. A bit like her spread, I guess.
That is normal television. But once the audience is told uncomfortable moments may have disappeared, every polished edit looks like evidence of something hidden. The denial was supposed to remove suspicion. It may have trained millions of eyes to search for it. Then Meghan made her second move. Out came the family photographs. There was Meghan with Harry. There were images involving Archie and Lilibet. Harry was shown throwing Lilibet into a pool. Archie appeared in an aircraft cockpit.
Meghan Markle is attempting to distract by showing a series of holiday photos, her summer holiday photos on Instagram, despite reports that she made one of the co-hosts on MasterChef basically cry. She's attempting to deflect from negative headlines in People magazine, and it's not going to work. And she's also probably trying to distract from Prince Harry's horrific last couple of weeks, where he face planted so hard into the UK, he left an imprint of his face and got utterly humiliated by the High Court.
The family was seen around beaches, flowers, meals, and holiday locations. There were photographs tied to Portugal, the United Kingdom, and Althorpe, the estate connected to Princess Diana's family and final resting place. Suddenly, the headlines had changed. Minutes earlier, the conversation was about an upset MasterChef judge, an awkward introduction, missing footage, and Meghan's response. Now the media had an entire menu of softer stories.
Man, her hair is bad. I'm sorry, I do not see his attraction to her whatsoever. They're attempting to sell that there.
Harry and Meghan still look happy. The children had an exciting summer. Archie likes planes. Lilibet enjoyed the pool. The family visited a deeply emotional place linked to Diana. That is not one distraction. That is an information flood. One negative story now had to compete with 10 emotional images.
All right, guys, so this is Althorpe. So I didn't catch this at first, but this picture is clearly taken from Althorpe, which is Diana's childhood estate there, confirming that they were in the UK for the naysayers out there. I double checked. This is definitely within the gardens. I just didn't think it was. It didn't strike me as that. I thought it was like Portugal.
Was the timing accidental? It could have been. Meghan may have planned the post long before the MasterChef report exploded. Nobody outside her team can prove the private reason she pressed upload at that exact moment. But critics are still allowed to ask the obvious question, why then? Why release rare family material on the same day a source close to Meghan was trying to crush an embarrassing television story?
They were at the estate, so this does confirm that the kids and Harry and everybody were in the UK. I never doubted that, but others did, so now we have some confirmation.
Why provide the press with photographs guaranteed to dominate royal coverage while the MasterChef backlash was building? Even if the album was not created as damage control, it worked like damage control. And Meghan understands media attention. This was not a random photograph of flowers or a new product sitting on a kitchen counter. She used the subjects that always generate the largest reaction. Harry, the children, the marriage, the United Kingdom, and Diana.
Archie in the pilot's seats, because maybe he can be a pilot because his dad couldn't.
Every image answered a different uncomfortable headline. Reports have questioned whether Harry and Meghan are operating increasingly separate lives. The new photographs say, look, they are together. Commentators have wondered whether their marriage is under strain. The images say, look, they are smiling. Critics have argued that the children are disconnected from Harry's family history. The Althorpe images say, look, they are being introduced to Diana's legacy.
And I think MasterChef is kind of sort of figuring that out. That inviting Meghan Markle, although I will say I believe her PR team lobbied for her to be on it, didn't go too well for them. Now, of course, the ratings will be kind of the end all be all. But Meghan, because of her attitude, reportedly really upsetting one of the co-hosts, maybe making her cry, and just the general attitude, Meghan has to come out and go, oh, no. It was fine, guys. It was fine. I had a great... No, you didn't have a great time, Meghan. I don't think you had a good time.
The MasterChef story painted Meghan as tense and difficult. The holiday album presents a relaxed mother, wife, and traveler surrounded by family warmth. That is a complete image repair package, and Althorpe was the most powerful part of it. The moment Princess Diana enters any Harry story, the emotional temperature changes immediately. The media stops talking only about celebrity behavior.
Someone who constantly talks about online bullying is actually one of the biggest bullies in the world and has a whole network of bullies operating on her behalf as part of the Sussex squad.
The language becomes grief, memory, family, inheritance, and healing. Harry bringing his children to a place connected with their grandmother is naturally moving. It creates a story far larger than a disputed day on a cooking set. Who wants to keep arguing about a MasterChef introduction while looking at flowers connected to Diana? That is why the release was so effective. It moved Meghan from the role of controversial television guest into the role of mother sharing a meaningful family journey.
Yikes, this already sounds like a train wreck for Meghan. And she also, Brittany of the Royal News Network, also pointed out that this choice of thumbnail by Channel 10 News, remember Channel 10 is the broadcaster airing this show on Sunday night in Australia, seems rather fitting. Meghan's expression is so incredibly forced and teetering on manic.
The visit itself may have been completely genuine. Harry may have wanted that private experience for years. The children may have had a meaningful day. None of that prevents the photographs from also becoming useful public relations material when they are released later. A moment can be real and still be strategically posted. The question is not whether the family went. The question is why the public was invited into that private moment precisely now.
It wasn't major drama, just a few awkward moments during filming that were adjusted in the final edit. That's what you call a PR desperately trying to not lie to one of their journalistic contacts while also acknowledging that something very bad had gone on.
Harry and Meghan have spent years demanding control over family privacy. They object when photographers, newspapers, or outsiders decide what the public sees. Yet when positive coverage is needed, private life becomes available in carefully selected pieces. The children are shown from controlled angles. Harry appears in warm family scenes. Emotional locations are revealed. The public receives enough access to form the desired impression, but only through images chosen and timed by Meghan.
And it was nothing to do with poor Poe saying royalty. It was to do with the fact that the entire challenge was called a dish fit for a duchess. So there she is using her royal title. And my understanding, Lady C, is she wasn't doing this show for altruistic reasons. She was doing it for a big, fat paycheck.
That is not a rejection of publicity. It is ownership of publicity. She does not appear to dislike attention. She dislikes attention she cannot direct. When the story is flattering, the audience is invited inside. When the story is damaging, a close source appears to say it never happened. Then a new visual story arrives and pushes the criticism lower down the page. That pattern is why the photo dump created suspicion instead of simply creating affection.
They are going to try to make their way back to the UK, and that's been reported, and that they'll hang out in Portugal, kind of make their way there. There could be an argument that at some point they go, you know what, we have this, our forever home in Portugal, and we're going to sell our Montecito home. Because I would imagine the home in Portugal is half the price, and they may be getting a good chunk of space, because I think it's probably a little bit cheaper there. They can sell their home, avoid the costs of it, and then maybe relocate to Portugal.
People are no longer looking only at what Meghan posts. They are looking at when she posts it and what else was happening that day. First, the MasterChef report. Second, the glowing denial. Third, the family album. Fourth, headlines about Harry, the children, Diana, travel, and a happy marriage. That sequence may be coincidence. But it is also exactly how a modern celebrity crisis is managed. The source gives journalists words. Instagram gives them pictures. The pictures win because photographs travel faster than a denial.
But of course, Meghan couldn't just leave it at that. She couldn't just accept, okay, there was some bad behavior, Poe ended up upset. No. She has had to turn this now into an international omni-shambles, with her people immediately rushing to one of her favorite publications, Page 6, in the New York Post, and insisting that Poe was wrong.
A sentence saying Meghan enjoyed filming cannot compete with Harry throwing his daughter into a pool or Archie sitting behind aircraft controls. Those images are emotional, easy to share, and almost impossible for entertainment outlets to ignore. Meanwhile, Poe remains the least powerful person in the story. She was the judge reportedly left upset. Yet she is not the one shaping the public response. Meghan's source speaks. Meghan's Instagram speaks. Commentators speak. Producers allegedly control the footage.
They had to cut out sections of the show because it looked bad. And again, not surprised, Meghan has this reputation. And so now they have to go with a positive spin. Oh, no. Meghan had a great time on MasterChef Australia, sources say, disputing frustration report. Yeah. No, I don't believe you.
Poe becomes the woman at the center of the storm, without controlling any part of the storm, and the episode has not even reached viewers yet. Think about what Network 10 expected from this booking. Meghan walks into the kitchen, talks about food, encourages contestants, tastes a dish, smiles for promotional photographs, and leaves. Easy publicity, international attention, a glamorous guest. Instead, the network now faces claims about tears, title confusion, producers stepping in, edits being removed, a disputed apology, and competing stories from unnamed sources. How does a simple cooking appearance become this complicated?
They got it from Harry and Meghan's team. And the point is that they got it from Harry and Meghan's team so that Meghan can dispute public narratives.
That is the question following Meghan everywhere. The opportunity is usually simple. The aftermath never is. MasterChef should have been perfect for her new brand. Meghan has been trying to connect herself with food, home, lifestyle, friendship, warmth, and family. A cooking competition places all of those themes in one safe studio. There is no palace argument to manage, no courtroom, no hostile interview, just food and friendly contestants. Yet the reporting attacks the exact image she needs most.
The producers stepped in several times to keep filming on track.
A warm lifestyle figure cannot easily survive a headline, saying a popular female judge left in tears. A champion of women cannot comfortably sit beside reports that another woman felt too nervous to approach her directly. A relaxed celebrity guest does not match claims that producers repeatedly had to control the room. That is why the denial had to be emphatic. And that is why the family images were so valuable. The photos did not prove anything about MasterChef. They did not tell us what Poe experienced. They did not reveal what producers removed.
There was an early expectation that Meghan would be the central focus of the day, but the reality on set was even more uneven. So basically, the contestants clearly loved this judge far more than they loved Meghan, and Meghan didn't like that.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple, printable, and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story. They did not explain whether an apology happened, but they changed Meghan's emotional image at the exact moment she needed it changed. From difficult guest to happy mother. From awkward studio tension to family holiday. From a crying judge to Princess Diana's estate. That is an extraordinary shift in less than a day. Now everything depends on the final episode.
Po Ling Yao's bubbly, lovely seeming personality did not mesh well with the mean girl energy from Meghan Markle, who attempts to seem nice but is really not. If you know what I mean.
If Meghan and Poe appear friendly from beginning to end, Meghan's supporters will declare the allegations false. They will point to every smile as proof. But a polished broadcast cannot show material producers chose not to include. It can only show the version approved for television. If even one tense exchange survives, the clip will explode online. Every look will be slowed down, every pause will be analyzed, every sudden cut will become another question. And then there are the ratings.
How can you mess this up? How can you mess up the simplest layup in the world by going on MasterChef? And Meghan can't do it. A MasterChef, she's a master mess.
If Meghan draws a large audience, her team can call the appearance a success, regardless of the backlash. If the episode disappoints, critics will argue that all this controversy still could not turn her into a ratings attraction. Either way, MasterChef has become a test of her entire public image. Was she the warm, funny guest described by her source? Or was the atmosphere as uncomfortable as the earlier report suggested? Did the producers simply edit a normal filming day? Or did they have to rescue a difficult one?
This should be so simple. And yet because it's Meghan, it's always so hard. Can you imagine working for her PR team?
And did Meghan post the family album because she wanted to share summer memories? Or because those photographs were the fastest way to bury a damaging conversation? We cannot read Meghan's mind. We can examine the timing, the sequence, and the result. The result is obvious. The family pictures immediately gave the media something else to discuss. But the MasterChef story did not disappear. It became bigger.
Could it be that the host, one of the co-hosts is like, nope, I'm not responding because I did have a crappy time with her. This is a pattern. This is not an aberration. This is a pattern.
Now viewers are waiting for the episode, watching the edits, comparing the faces, and questioning every official denial. Meghan's response did not close the case. Her photo dump did not erase it. Together, they turned one behind-the-scenes report into a full public relations drama. So, what do you think? Was Meghan's family post simply an innocent holiday update? Or did it arrive at the perfect moment to push the MasterChef allegations out of sight? Do you believe the source close to Meghan? Or do the reports about Poe and the producers sound more convincing? And when the episode airs, what will you be watching first? The food or Meghan's face? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe to Hollywood Yesterday and turn on notifications because this story is far from finished. The moment new footage, another response, or fresh behind-the-scenes details appear, we will break down what changed and what Meghan's team does next.